If you're a bivocational pastor, then this special flash episode is just for you. I'm Pete Mitchell, and in between our regular Church Planter podcast episodes, I'll be bringing you insight and ideas to help our Bivo pastors have an easier and more profitable go at it. If you'd like more info on the training program specifically for bivocational pastors, you can check it out at missionbybusiness.com. Hey, I am coming to you from inside my car. I'm driving back from Phoenix, my recent trip to Phoenix. I'm still, 2 hours away from home. This is like the longest ever in the car. 5.5 hours yesterday in the car.
Continue straight on State Route 60 West.
So that's my Waze. I got to turn off the Waze. And another 5.5 hours in the car today. Oh, man, I tell you, what a trip. So I lead a Bivo pastor cohort. It's our mastermind group, but it's really a cohort. That's the term that you as a pastor would understand and recognize what we're doing. And we do a lot of stuff in this cohort, but that's not the point that I want to get to here. So one of the guys in the cohort, a guy by the name of Dave Negri, phenomenal guy. He's an elder at his church. He's a guy I partner with on a couple of different programs. Top-notch guy. Love this guy. Love working with this guy. Really just A-plus guy. Can't say enough about him. So he puts into the Voxer group that we have for this cohort. And he says to everyone, hey guys, I just listened to this podcast. You might want to listen to it. So I got this long drive. I got nothing better to do. I've been talking on the phone, talked again, another 30, 45 minutes with Caesar Kalinowski. He was so fired up from yesterday's call. He wanted to call me back. He's like, hey, I got to tell you about this idea. And it was great. I really felt like we were connected on some really cool ideas and stuff. And so anyway, I got this time on my hands. I'm like, man, I'm going to listen to that podcast. So I listened to it. Phenomenal podcast. Love it. Couldn't tell you the name of it. I honestly have no idea. I just clicked the link in the Voxer group so I could listen to it. But this guy is making a point. He's bringing the point that one of the things that he's done is he takes biblical principles and applies it to selling, right? Selling is seen by so many as evil. And I have had a complete, change of perception on all of this. I believe that God has called us into business, into the world, into not to be a part of the world, not to be conformed by the world, but to be in the world with people doing life together. And there's nothing more doing life together than actually working with someone, working for someone, working alongside someone, or having people work for you. You can't compare that to, 4 hours a week as a full-time minister, getting a bunch of Christians in front of you on Sunday and maybe on Wednesday, versus the bivocational pastor who's spending another, 40, 50 hours a week working with people. Come on. You have a bigger impact as a bivocational pastor. But here's the point. Here's the key point. So he goes, if you notice, what does Jesus do every time he's with people? Every time he's trying to connect, he solves a problem that they have. He's always solving a problem. Sometimes it's a spiritual problem. Think about the woman at the well, right? She's got a spiritual problem, and he solves that. Other times it's sickness. Someone's sick, so he solves that. Other times it's food. They're hungry. He solves that. Other times someone's died. He solves that. Jesus is constantly solving problems, turning water into wine. Like, think about that, right? Most in the evangelical world, it's like, oh, wine, sin. The wine that they had in the Bible was different. It was that low alcoholic poly near beer type wine. That's what that was. No one really got drunk. I know there's all those verses about people getting drunk, but not Jesus. He made grape juice. That's what he made. Look, no. Jesus solved the problem. And what does that get him? Connection with people. A relationship with people. It draws people to him. As a bivocational minister, you solve problems for people. Now, I happen to do it as a business growth consultant. I help businesses double their profits. I help businesses bust past their big problems in business. I plug holes in their company. I show them how to fix their situation. As a painter, you solve a problem. Someone's got a house that needs to be painted, or a room that needs to be painted. As a roofer, they got a hole in the roof, or it leaks, or it's just time. It's due. They got to change it, or they're solving a problem as a roofer, or someone who does real estate, and someone's looking to buy a home. You're solving a problem. You're helping them get a home. That's what you do as a bivocational minister. You connect with people the same way Jesus did by solving problems. Maybe you're a doctor and you're solving a problem that they have, and you're connecting with people. And that's why I think bivocational pastors specifically, but not limited to bivocational pastors, can have such a huge impact for the kingdom, because you're solving problems, and it's always at the forefront of your mind of what you're doing is to bring glory to God. What you're doing is so everyone will know who Jesus is. That's what you're doing. And I want to encourage you in that. I want you to be proud about being bivocational. If you're like, hey, man, if I could get a full-time job in ministry, if that's what God's called you to, great. But if you hang around me, I'm going to tear up that idea in your head and throw it out the window. Because I believe God loves you and loves your community and loves your family so much that he wants you to be bivocational. I think you have a bigger impact there. I really think you have a bigger impact. Now, it may not be doing the stuff that I do. It could be doing something totally unrelated. And that's great. That's fine. Have no problem with that at all. Sorry, guys. Looks like there was a huge accident. I'm literally driving by it, and I have no idea where the second car is. But, man, that's going to be ugly. I'm glad it wasn't worse. But now the guy's walking around on the freeway, and traffic's not exactly stopped yet. So that's kind of crazy. Anyway, side story, guys. So I just want to encourage you as a bivocational pastor, don't see that as a shortcoming. Don't see that as, I'm failing in ministry. I gotta get that brass ring. When can I get my full-time needs covered by the church? Throw that idea out and go, look, I want to stay bivo because I want to be used by God to reach more people during the week than just on Sunday I could ever reach. That's my prayer for you. I hope you guys get the passion that I got about this, because, man, I'm fired up about that concept. Jesus solving problems, and that's what we do as bivocational ministers, is we solve problems for people. I've plugged this before, and may or may not be right for you. I got a program. You can see it at missionbybusiness.com. I'm putting together a new webinar. It's not going to be out before this podcast gets posted, but I think you should check it out. If you are bivocational and self-employed, you definitely want to check it out, because I'm going to show you in the special training that I got at missionbybusiness.com. I'm going to show you how you can double your profits. Now, what does that mean for you? Is it just about the money? Of course not. But money does make life a little bit easier. That's why you want to get the check, right, from your church, because, hey, life would be a little bit easier if I got a little bit more money. But you're solving problems. That's what money really means. It means you're solving problems for people. The more problems you solve for people, the bigger problems you solve for people, the more value they get and the more value you get. And we just happen to get these little certificates called dollars to show the value that you brought to someone. So it's a good thing. It's a great thing. But I'm also in this training. So that's why I say, if you're in any kind of self-employed, or you run a business or anything like that, watch the training. I believe it will absolutely help you if you watch it. And the old one's still up. I'm going to send everybody who watches the training an email telling them, hey, the new one's up. You want to check it out. And if you want to check out what it is that I do and would that be right for you, I'll even tell you about that in the training as well, because it may or may not be right for you. And don't worry, it's not a sales thing. There's literally no form that comes up at the end and says, put your credit card here or anything like that. In fact, I always tell people my program is not a just join program. If after you see the training and you're like, hey, you know what Pete does sounds really cool, I'd like to see if I could do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you to schedule a call with me, and I'm going to talk to you about it. Some people, I tell them, hey, you know what? I don't think this is right for you. Other people, I do tell them I think this is right for you. I tell you, man, I was talking to a pastor. I don't know if I talked about it on this podcast before. I was talking to this pastor last Friday, and he's telling me about some of the struggles that he's had in ministry. I mean, it's struggles that I hear all the time. I am sure it is stuff that has happened to you. He was at a church. It was more of a revitalization effort. And one thing led to another. And he was like, look, it was time for us to leave. It was time for us to leave the church. They weren't kicking us out, but it was time to leave. And he goes and he works for a financial planning company. I don't know. I think it was Edward Jones or something like that. He goes, they got a great training program. He goes, I'd highly recommend it. Anybody who wants to get in that field, that's a phenomenal program. And he goes, so what did I do? I did what the training program said. I went and I knocked doors. He goes, and I think it was like over 4 or 5 months. He walked 120 miles knocking on doors. And I'm like listening to this going, okay, first of all, anybody who's willing to do that, I have got to work with you because I can help you make real money. Because no one has that kind of commitment except for Mormons. Like, I kid you not. Like, Mormons, they make some of the best salespeople, especially when they come right off the mission field, right? Because for 2 years, they've been getting rejection after rejection, knocking on all these doors. And so companies love to hire Mormon missionaries, ex-Mormon missionaries, because think about it. Those guys have been getting rejected for 2 years. And I'm listening to this guy, and you walked 120 miles. Okay, I have to find a way for you to work with me because I can help you make some real money. Real money, real certificates of value, because I can help show you how to solve problems for people, and they're going to reward you with that, with money, the very thing we all need to survive. So anyway, check it out, guys, missionbybusiness.com. Like I said, if the new one's not up, you wouldn't know it, right? Because the old one's going to be there. But I will send everyone who has gone through there an email and let them know, hey, the new training is up. You got to check it out. I think it's going to help you. So anyway, guys, take care. I will talk with you soon. And hopefully I won't get in an accident like that other guy.